Ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, asses and assets. No, wait a minute, that's not right. Anyway, welcome back. Well, I had great plans for today of what I was going to accomplish, and I was going to be getting back on the Stitches Challenger, starting to work on the trunk floor when I realized I had one tool that I'm probably going to need that I didn't build and I've had the parts for a long time. So let's watch the show intro and get an overview of some of the projects that we do here at this place. And then we'll get right into this after the intro. So stick around for 30 seconds. Don't go away. I'm Mike, and this is Mike R's shop.
Working out of a 100-year-old refurbished barn, bringing 35 years of experience to projects considered beyond repair. Vision, creativity, and problem solving are essential tools in this place. Watch as we transform junk into polished metal miracles. This is My Car's Shop.
Having not been home much for the last couple of months, really, it's just been a lot going on. The shop is absolutely out of control. It's difficult to work in here. I've been trying to get things done to keep feeding you guys content, but it's been a struggle, I'll admit it. It's been a bit of a struggle. But at the end of the day, it's time to get down and get dirty and get back on these projects. I know that you guys have been waiting for months for me to work on stitches, and it's time. But there's one tool that I want and need for doing floor pans that's just going to make my life a whole lot easier. And in the end of the whole project here, I'll use it most on the hump, the tunnel where the transmission is and so forth. But there's some places, there's stuff. There's some places in the trunk that I'm going to need to use it on. I could do it without it, but I think at the end of the day, it's just going to work better. So today we're going to show you how I build my pipe anvil. And quite frankly, it's going to be figuring it out as I go. My design is loosely based on the one that you can find online, built by Gene Winfield. But I'm taking some poetic license also. If you watch Fitzy Fabrication, he's also built one. It's a very common tool. You just need 3 pieces of pipe. And, well, we'll just show you. We don't need to keep talking about it. I don't know why I feel like I need to over-explain everything. I just keep talking about stuff, and it's just ridiculous. So my buddy Chris, as we affectionately call Creed, got me some very nice Schedule 40 pipe, and it's been sitting over there at the end of the bench for a while, partly because I want, when it's together, I want it to be over here, and I just didn't want to assemble it because it's going to take up 5-foot length of shop plus maybe 1.5 to 2 feet wide. But necessity is the mother of invention, or I don't know, necessity is something. And I'm getting to the point where just having the tool set up and built is going to be very handy. So that's what we're going to do. He also gave me these really cool clamps, and I may use those for the legs. I don't know. We'll see. But there's 3 pieces of Schedule 40 here. So there's that one, which is, I don't remember the dimensions. I think this one's 4 or 5, and this one's 3.5, and this one's 2 or 2.5. I don't know. There's pipe. So yeah, we'll start assembling this, showing you how it works, and then we'll go from there. I could use these to make it so that it's takeable, apartable. I could take it back apart. I think we're going to just use these as assembly clamps if they'll work. But we got to put some spacers in here to make sure that we have enough room for sheet metal. And what you may not even know what a pipe anvil is, so this could just be a great mystery, or maybe you do, and I'm wasting your time. I don't know. Okay, so the first thing I needed to do was find some spacers to put between the pipes because we need to be able to slide sheet metal down in there. And I had to sort through about 100 washers, but I found some washers that should do the job. We want to be at about 3/32 of an inch, which is 0.093, so these are all about 0.091, 0.094. You know, they're all within 100 thousandths of each other, so close enough. And then of course we need to put them in there, and we'll weld this up, but for now, for assembly purposes, I'm just going to use this clamp, maybe, to just kind of hold all this together. And just kind of test fit everything and see how it goes. Now I don't have my washers in there yet, but the pipe gap looks good as far as being straight. The pipes aren't warped at all. So we'll pull this apart, we'll slip our washer down in there, and then we'll look at our gap and see how that looks. Looks pretty good. And you could go a little thinner maybe, but Gene recommends 93. I think one of the other ones recommends like 80. Being as Gene is the guru, I'm going with what he says. That worked well. The nice thing about making one of these is if you're a scavenger, it doesn't have to cost you anything. In this case, I just begged some favors, and Creed begged some favors, and then we got favors. So it's pretty good right there. Okay, I'm going to tighten it down where I want it. It's very tempting for me to just leave this together with the clamps. That way, if I wanted to change the gap, I could. So we shall see. You just never really know about these things. Okay, that's got her held together pretty well there. Now we got to do the same thing on the other side, but we need to have this kind of tipped up a little bit because you want this to be, well, I'll stick the drawing in here that I found on Pinterest. That's kind of Gene's sketch of what these look like. But Creed was nice enough to give me 4 of these clamps. And then of course these are from an old tent that I had, one of those big car storage tents, and that's what I'm going to use for legs. But I need to get this propped up. So I was going to space this up and make it a little bit more triangulated, but the more I think about it, and I looked at a couple of them online, and I think making it like this makes the most sense. Tony over at Fitzy's Fabrication has his this way. Matt, I'm not totally sure what Matt has at Iron Trap Garage, but I'm not trying to necessarily make what they have, but by the same token, I don't want to ignore the guys who've been using theirs for years and have been, been given expertise by experts. That doesn't make any sense either. But I think this is the way to go here, and we'll do it this way. And like I said, we're not welding it together yet, so we've got latitude in how we choose to put it together. Clamp is just a little bit tight. It's like the big taste of chocolate and a little Hershey's Kiss. There we go. Okay, good. Get down in there. There we go. Probably not going to leave these, as I probably have already said so many times, but it's nice to be able to kind of screw it together before you weld it and screw it up. Of course, I put the clamp down now and I can't find it. It's because it's in the bucket. It was on my bucket list. Okay, good. Must be an optical illusion. It looks like it's bent, but I don't think it is. The gap on that looks a little wide. I think it's just an optical illusion because they're the same washers. I think it's just an optical illusion because the pipe is so much smaller. But I think I'll try rotating this pipe a little bit. Make a mark on it here. That way, if it is bent, I can make a decision on how it goes. I think it must have been bent a little bit. I rotated it about, not quite 180, so maybe 100 degrees. And I think it tightened and looks a little more even. So I just kind of rotated it until it looked uniform. Okay, good. So you can see our gap. Nice and even all the way down. Same thing on this side. Gap, maybe in the camera doesn't look even, but to the naked eye it does now. Before it was really wide in the middle. So I think we're good. Just noticed that the end of this one's not lined up, so I'm going to try to knock this pipe down this way a little bit. Ouch. There we go. Good. The washers are kind of sticking out a little bit, so we'll have to account for that. Not a big deal. The spacing is right. It'd be nice to tap them in, but I don't want to take it apart. So maybe we'll get it tacked, bzz, 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 and then we can tap those washers into place. Or maybe we'll leave them and just grind them off. That's probably what we'll do. Okay, I think. Well, I just think. I don't know how I'm going to do the legs yet, but getting this done first obviously seems like probably important. Because I can always set it up on something like this to use it, but it'll have legs on it before we're done. Okay, so I think we got it welded up pretty well. We'll take the clamps off now and find out. Not the prettiest welds in the world, but those washers in there, and if I had the stick attachment for my TIG, that would be the best way to do it. We may do that, but I think for what this is going to be, I mean, we're not going to be putting, you know, like 1/4-inch bar stock in there with 7 feet of bar and prying on anything. It's just to bend some tin, so it should be fine. So we'll take the clamps off and check everything, make sure it's good, and start figuring out how we're going to make the legs next. Now that I have the clamps out of the way, I can see something that would make sense is to grind the little nubs of washers off and just go ahead and run a bead on the end of there. So I'll get that done before we're done. Just a little extra strength, but I think I want to move on to engineering these legs and figure out exactly how we want to put them on there. I'm not sure. Or maybe we don't want to use those at all. I'm wondering if angle iron would be better, but I don't have any. So I'll think about it. My thought is to kind of run it like off the end, like a triangle here. And here, I don't know, something like that. It could come right off of here, but I feel like if I don't have 2-point attachment, like I can weld it right up to the top of that, if I don't have 2-point attachment, it's not going to be very strong. I don't know, got to think about it. So I think what makes the most sense to me on the legs is to come in here about like this. May need to be spread a little bit more, like that, probably. And then the other one will come back the same way. So I just need to mark where I need to grind this off in here to be able to weld it, and I may put a strap around here to help hold it. So I just want to get that cleaned up in that little area there so I can have some good bare metal to grind to. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Let's tack that in place. We're gonna cut that off, and we'll probably put some kind of a foot on the bottom eventually. Thinking about putting maybe some casters, like a board and some casters. We'll see, I'm not sure, but yeah, this is gonna work, I think, I hope. Again, I gotta clean up my little spot here. So that we can weld to it. I'm going to bring that in a little bit, but I like the way I can get a good run on it in here. So we'll get that cleaned up. Okay, so our legs are tacked on there now, so I'm going to go ahead and take the cutoff wheel and zip it off, and then well, before we do that, let's just pick it up a little bit. They're only tacked on there. Hopefully they're tacked enough, but yeah, they're not bad. Not bad. They could maybe use a little bit of bracing. We'll see. I don't know if I want to put braces up this way. That could possibly interfere with the function, so maybe the legs are a bit small. That could be the problem. We may need some stronger legs, or what I could do is just get some angle iron and put on there to support those legs, which is probably the best shot. But for now it'll work. So let's get those cut off. Okay, yeah, looks good. I can get a good bead down in here to weld that on. I get a good bead here. We'll peen that over and take the sharp spots off of it, grind it down. But for now, I'm just going to get that welded on there. Means I've got to get dressed again. I got to find my neck buff. My wife told me I need to be in the buff when I'm welding. My buff is over there. And there we go, it's all done. We just got to finish it up. I need to look into, it's a little bit wobbly, but it's usable. So now this won't be holding me up from doing some of the stuff that I need to do. So I'll find a piece of sheet metal here and I'll give you just a quick demonstration on how this works, just so you can get the idea. I may go ahead and put some bracing up, but I've got to make sure. I don't think that's a good idea, because if I have a big piece that could possibly interfere. So I've got an idea of a base that I can put on here that will have some braces that will take some of this out. Or like I said, if I need to, I can reinforce those legs with some angle iron or something like that. But I'm fine with this. This is what I had. It didn't cost me anything. I have a grand total of nothing into this, because so Chris pulled a favorite for the pipe. I had the legs, and so grand total cost, big fat goose egg. So how can you beat that? So let's get a piece of metal. Okay, so the idea with this is for making long radiuses like a tunnel. You would put your piece of metal in, bend it. I don't have a nice long piece right now. Definitely glad I didn't go any tighter. This is a piece of 16 gauge, 18 gauge. It's either 18 or 16, I'm not going to bother measuring. But you can make some, this has got all kinds of goobers on it. You can make some nice radiuses on this. Well, I got to get a different piece. That had goobers all over it because I was practicing TIG welding. This will work better. So you can, if I want to put a radius on this, I can work this down in here and just start bending it gently. You can even work it out the bottom. So you can see how quickly I was able to make a nice radius. Now think about that if you're making a tunnel for like a transmission in the floor to tunnel in the, golly gee Wally. Anyway, you can make some nice radiuses. My inability to speak English. So you can just keep working that, and you can see how if I have a longer piece and I'm working that, we'd be able to start forming a real nice radius floor for anything that we want to do. Now we're going to need stuff like this, and we can do compound radiuses if I want to start bending this the other way. So now I've got a nice S curve, and of course I can exaggerate that more and more. And if I want it tighter, I can go over on this side and bend it. And so forth. So you can see the advantage. So we have the tool usable. There's a little bit more to do to improve it, but overall, happy with it. It's working, like I said. Most of the floor pans are going to be 20 gauge, 22 gauge probably 20 gauge. I was bending 16 and 18, I think, as pieces I had. And this isn't going to handle much more than that anyway. It's not for doing heavy stuff. It's just for sheet metal work. So there you go, pipe anvil. I'll probably get some time and do more, but here's some things that are coming. I really can't work out here right now the way things are, and it's just because, as I said in the beginning, I've been gone so much. So the next step out here, hopefully this week, is I want to just get kind of a general cleanup done. I know Mark and I are talking about scheduling to get him up to do actually some of the remodeling and improving on the shop, getting all the 69 charger parts put back in storage instead of being here so we can open the shop up. We want to be able to put the pipe anvil over here and a few other things and just make more room in here. We're going to do some painting, and well, there's just other stuff coming. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I mentioned it last time, the super clean drawing is coming. I'm holding off just a little bit because one of our sister channels is doing theirs right now. So I'm going to give them a couple of weeks. So I said I was going to be announcing it here, and that's the reason I haven't. But we're going to be doing a bottle of the spray, aerosol, as well as a squirt can of the super clean. So that'll be coming real soon, so stay tuned for that. I appreciate all of Super Clean's encouragement and all that they do for us here at the channel. They've been an outstanding sponsor for the channel, and I'm not paid to say any of this, so but they've been just a really tremendous help in providing product for the shop and just in general encouragement. So thank you, Super Clean. All right. I think I've done all I can do on this one, so let's wrap this episode up. Thanks for being here. Obviously, we're moving forward on getting things ready to do some more fabricating on the Challenger. We may do floor pans in the trunk, or we may get the other subframe connector in. Either one, I'm not sure. It's going to depend on my whim. I was actually going to start doing floor pans today when I realized I didn't have this thing done. Now we do. So there we go. One more thing accomplished here at My Car Shop. By the way, like, subscribe, comment on the video, eat a peanut butter sandwich, have a cold beverage. I don't care, do something, but spread the word about the shop and what we're doing over here, and get ready because fall is coming very fast, and some of you would say it's here, but not quite yet. It's still margarita season. It's not pineapple spice latte season or whatever the heck it is. So we'll be getting into this fabrication stuff real soon. Weather's cooling down. It's getting a lot more comfortable. All right, thanks, guys. And Facebook and Instagram /MyCarShop, and rock.